Welcome back to Healthy with Nicole. In today's video, I want to talk about estrogen dominance and what you can do about it. Estrogen dominance is actually very common. It's something that we are all exposed to because estrogen is in our environment. It's kind of endemic here. We are obviously, in men and women, we all have estrogen in our body. Women obviously a lot more, but we also are exposed to estrogens through our environment. So we call those exogenous estrogens. So that can be things from chemicals in our food, things in the air, our water, and even cosmetics and things that you put on your skin that are absorbed in can mimic estrogens in your body. And so we refer to those as exogenous estrogens. And sadly, we are all exposed to them. So we do need to take a little bit of effort to make sure that we are minimizing them as much as possible and also getting them out of our body and taking measures to do that. So some of the best ways to limit your exposure to exogenous estrogens is to filter your water. I use a Berkey water filter, which pretty much takes out everything. And never drink out of plastic bottles. I always use glass. And then also take a time to minimize your skincare routine. So limiting things that have any kind of chemicals in them whatsoever. That can help to reduce your exposure to exogenous estrogens. And also just, we can't really do too much about the air we breathe, but if you have the option of being someplace where it's cooler, you definitely want to do that. Being someplace where it's cleaner air, you definitely want to do that. And those are kind of the big ones in terms of getting exposed to exogenous estrogens. And sometimes we don't even notice it, but you will see some symptoms related to estrogen dominance. Some of those are related to, for women, are going to be related to your cycles. So you might have more severe PMS. You might have unbalanced cycles, irregular periods. You might see a drop in your libido and an increase in stress hormones. You might see anxiety and depression go up and moodiness. And also, for women that are trying to get pregnant may have estrogen dominance, which can make infertility happen in your body. For men, we see things like hair loss and also erectile dysfunction and loss of libido. So it does affect both men and women, and in more ways than I've talked about here. So I think it's something worth looking into for all of us, and then also just taking a preventative action. So other ways that you can get those exogenous estrogens out of your body, besides just limiting what you're exposed to, is your food. One of the best ways is to, believe it or not, eat raw carrots. And the reason for that is that raw carrots are antibacterial and they bind to endotoxins in the gut and in the colon. So specifically exogenous estrogens, and they carry it out of the body. When we have exogenous estrogens in our gut and our colon, it actually is reabsorbed into our body if we're not eliminating it every single day. So unless you're having 1, 2, or even 3 bowel movements a day, this is a concern because whatever's in the colon will get reabsorbed, and now you have a compounding effect of all of these exogenous estrogens. Not good. So raw carrots, and the reason raw is because they work better raw once they're cooked. We're breaking down some of the fibers that are in there, and they also become more of a starchy carb with higher glycemic index. So I prefer raw. And then we also can use mushrooms. So simple, just button mushrooms can also clear the gut of endotoxins and estrogens. But the thing about mushrooms is that you want to make sure they're cooked really well. Some mushrooms grow in questionable locations, so I would just make sure that when you're eating your mushrooms, a couple mushrooms a day is plenty, but make sure you cook them really well. Cook down any fibers and that could, potentially cause irritation, and then just use the antibacterial effect of the mushrooms to help clear out some of those endotoxins. And then lastly, one other thing I want to talk about is oysters. And so oysters are great for supporting your thyroid, and when the thyroid is functioning well, it makes more progesterone so that we get that balance back. So whenever we have more estrogen in the body, the progesterone levels will naturally drop. And so bringing that balance back is really important. And we can help do that by supporting thyroid health. Oysters are a great way to do it, as are, having liver once or twice a week, and just generally keeping some glucose in the system to help your thyroid function better and help the liver convert your T4 into T3, keep everything humming along. So those are a few things that you can do if you are feeling like you've got some estrogen dominance, and more than likely you probably have exogenous estrogens already in your body, like most of us do. Well, if you like that video, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe and share the video with anybody else that you might find it helpful for. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.